Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have big news for international students and scholars in the US. On August 28, 2025, the Department of Homeland Security proposed a major change that could reshape how long F1 and J1 visa holders are allowed to stay in the US. So if you are a student studying in the US or planning to apply soon, this is something you will need to know. Let's get right into the video. For over 30 years, students and exchange visitors, that is the F and J1 visa holders, have been admitted for what we call duration of status. Basically, it means that as long as your I-20 or DS-219 is valid and you are making normal progress in your academic program and you are in school, you could stay in the US without any trouble. So if you come to the US and you are given a 2-year visa or a 1-year visa and your visa expires, so far as you are already in school, you are allowed to stay and you are allowed to stay as long as you could. So I came to the US to study. I came in 2019 and I've been here since 2019. I have been allowed to be here because I've been in lawful status. I've been studying, and after studies, I've transitioned to another lawful legal residence here. But under this new proposal, that system goes away. Instead, you will be admitted until your program end date, not exceeding 4 years, plus extra 30 days to prepare to leave the country. Don't worry, I will explain all the details. So if you need more time to stay to finish your program, you will have to file an extension of stay with the USCIS. Now, let's go into details. What are the key proposed changes? First, the 60-day grace period for F1 students after completing a program would be taken away and will be replaced to just 30 days, same as J1. Let me explain. So when you come to the US to come and study, let's say you came to study an undergraduate program or a master's or a PhD program. Now, after your program is done, when you graduate from your program, the current law is that you have 60 days to prepare to leave the country. They are going to reduce that 60 days to 30 days. So when you are done, when you complete your studies in May, you are going to have only 30 days to prepare to leave. Again, undergraduate F1 students wouldn't be able to change majors or academic level in their first year. Graduate students will not be able to also change program at all during their studies. I will explain, but let me give you a simple scenario. So if you came to the US to come and study, let's say bachelor's in accounting, you cannot change your major in your first year. You must complete first year before you say, oh, I'm not interested in accounting, I want to change into nursing. You cannot do that unless you spend 1 year in school. If you're a graduate student, you came to the US to study history, you don't have the chance to change your program at all. So you cannot change from history to mathematics. If you want to, this is what this rule would mean. Also, if you finish one program, you can start another at the same or lower level in the F1 status. What does this mean? This means that I came to the United States to do masters. My first masters was at Columbia Theological Seminary. Then I came to Yale to do a second masters. If this rule or if this proposal passes, it means that I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't be able to do that. If you came to do masters, you cannot go ahead to do a second masters or a program that is lower. There are some people, for example, after I did my masters in theology, I'm like, I'm interested in, let's say, accounting, or I'm interested in, let's say, IT. Let me use IT. So I applied to a community college to do a diploma or associate degree in IT. I cannot do that in this proposed rule. So basically, you cannot do another master's if you're a graduate student, right? You cannot do another master's at the same level. So another master's or a program that is below. Let's continue. Another thing in the proposal is the transfer between schools. You would have to complete at least one academic year at your school before you can transfer. So let me explain that. There are many people who come to the US, they get their visas, they come here, they will come to do, let's say, masters at Yale. Now they come and they are like, I want to transfer to another school, let's say to Harvard. You can't do that. You must be able to spend 1 year in the school before you be able to transfer. You cannot basically come within 2 months or a semester and say you want to transfer. That will be no more when these proposed laws or rules or changes passes. Again, if you don't file for an extension on time, if you need more time, you will start accruing unlawful presence immediately. Unlike before, where that only began after an official violation was found. Let me give you a rare example. Let's say Kofi is a chemistry PhD student. In this current proposal, this is what will happen with Kofi. Kofi's program is for 5 to 6 years. Under the new rule, Kofi would only receive 4 years of lawful stay plus 30 days. So by 2028, Kofi must file an extension requesting USCIS to extend his stay. Even though his I-20 is valid and his I-20 state that Kofi would have to graduate in, let's say, 2030, he will need permission from the USCIS after 4 years here in order to stay. Or Kofi would have to go back to his home country and reapply to come. So that is after the 4 years, you don't have the permission to live here again. So if processing is delayed or denied, your research could be disrupted, your funding will be jeopardized, and Kofi will be forced to leave before finishing his dissertation. These are sample examples I'm giving from what Yale town hall discussion was about. So we had lawyers who came to explain these rules, and most of the examples I'm using here are from that discussion. I'm not explaining it from my own terms. So I want to give credit to that. Also, let's look at Lena, a master's student in public health. Lena finishes her master's program in 2027 and hopes to pursue a PhD at the same university. The new regulation prevents her from changing to another graduate program, even at the same school. So she would have to leave the US and go and apply from her home country. You know that now there's a new policy in effect that only allow people to apply for visas in their home country. So Lena cannot go to Canada to reapply for the visa, or cannot go to Mexico or whatever. She will have to go to Ghana, her home country, or Nigeria. And when she is denied a visa, it means that her hopes of achieving her PhD is gone. You get the situation is serious, especially in this case. So for example, Paul, who is also a colleague on this page, did his master's at Yale and had his PhD at Yale. So he transitioned from master's to PhD. If this law was in effect, Paul wouldn't have been able to do that. He would have to leave and reapply and start the process afresh, as if he is starting afresh. And know that these are tools, if these are ways to control the system. So if these rules apply, it's going to put a lot of people in difficult situation. Now let's look at a scenario with somebody doing OPT. So let's talk about Carlos, who is finishing an OPT. So Carlos completes his or her STEM degree and OPT. Under the old system, Carlos has 60 days grace period that help him to apply for H-1B sponsorship. With only 30 days, he may not have enough time to secure paperwork, increasing the chances of falling out of status. So it means that when you are done with school, like when I was done, I graduated from Yale. I did my OPT, right? So after the OPT, you have 60 days to leave the country, or you have 60 days to file for a change of status. Perhaps you are filing for H-1B or green card, right? Now, the new rule will only give you 30 days to do that. And after the 30 days, if you have not been able to file, which is it's a short time, you are out of status, you become illegal. That is very serious, and we hope that this will not pass. So what does all of this mean for international students? For students already in the US, this adds uncertainty and stress. Long programs like PhD or medical studies could be disrupted if extensions are delayed or denied. It only limits flexibility, changing major, right? Transferring schools or even pursuing another degree becomes very harder. Sometimes people research interest changes. People have different interests when they complete their masters, or they want to gain additional knowledge. When I completed Columbia, I needed additional knowledge in my languages to do what I was interested to do. So in this policy, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity. For those thinking about applying to US schools, this rule could make the US a less attractive option compared to other countries. Why choose the US if your education plan might be cut short by red tape, or if you risk losing years of progress because of a visa technicalities? It makes things very harder, and it really even affect the way schools approach this. Because if this proposal passes, it won't just affect international students, it could change the entire landscape of education in the US. Schools may see fewer international applicants, and they may not even be interested in admitting many international applicants because of these technicalities, especially for long-term programs. That could impact research, it could impact campus diversity, and even the billions of dollars international students contribute to the US economy every year. Now, the important note is that this is just a proposed rule. It isn't final yet. The Department of Homeland Security must accept public comment. They must review them and possibly revise before anything becomes law. That means there is still time for institutions, for schools, for lawyers, for people, for citizens in the US and organizations to express their concern and comments. I'll leave the link to this proposal and the way you could comment on the video description section. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you have any question. Please subscribe if you are new here, and like and share. As always, remember that theology is fine. Trust me.